Meet Sang Woo, just a regular guy until his clone power kicks in. Now he's slicing monsters like it's payday, and trust me, he never fights alone. If you're new to the channel, welcome aboard. Hit that like button and subscribe to join us on more wild adventures like Sang Woo's monster-slaying mayhem. Many people dream of having a double who can work, go to the gym, and do all the difficult daily tasks for them. One day, this dream comes true for a young man named Sang Woo. But his peaceful life soon ends. He wakes up to find his parents' apartment in ruins, and monsters filling the city streets. Even after all this, Sang Woo does not give up. He wants to become stronger. He gives instructions to his partners to collect the bodies of all the monsters they hunt. To others, it may look foolish how he fights even the most powerful monsters without hesitation. Seeing a giant monster, Sang Woo smiles. He has not faced such a big enemy in a long time. He tells his team to attack. They will earn good money for this battle. Sang Woo, holding his captured sword, gets ready to fight. But he is never alone in battle, as his special skill is cloning. Everyone has things they must do in life, like studying, working, and eating. But Sang Woo does not like these daily tasks. He always dreams of doing only what he enjoys. One of his favorite activities is playing computer games. He also loves traveling, both in his country and abroad. Meeting friends and having drinks is another thing he enjoys. He also dreams of romance, like taking a walk in the park with a beautiful girl. But he does not like that people can do only one thing at a time. He wishes he had two bodies to do everything he wants. At the Awakening Center, more and more people arrive. They are excited about getting new abilities and talk about what skills they might receive. Sang Woo does not care much. He finds the whole thing boring and just wants to go home to play games. Then, a man with a microphone speaks. He introduces himself as Park Wante, a Class A hunter. He will lead the awakening ceremony. The government created this program to give people special skills. Park Wante wishes everyone good luck and calls the first group to enter the portal. One by one, people step forward. Sang Woo waits in line without much interest. When his turn comes, he stands in front of a cheerful girl who welcomes him. She checks his identity using a special bracelet. After that, she tells him to enter the portal. Sang Woo has never done this before. He hesitates for a moment. His heart beats fast, but he knows he must go through. He reaches out his hand and touches the darkness of the portal. In an instant, the system registers him, and he appears on the other side. Sang Woo looks around, feeling strange. He sees that other people also feel unwell after passing through the portal. Then, he notices a girl celebrating. She has received a powerful skill called Phoenix Firebird Summon. Suddenly, men rush toward her. They are from different hunter associations, trying to recruit her. Sang Woo watches and feels jealous of her strong skill. Suddenly, a young man approaches him and asks if he is feeling okay. Sang Woo honestly replies he does not feel well. The man assures him that it will pass soon. Then Sang Woo checks what skill he has received. He opens his status window, which appears as soon as he thinks about it. He is surprised by the interactive system. His general stats are so low that he feels embarrassed to look at them. Instead, he checks his new ability. He discovers that his skill is cloning, and at this stage, he can create only one clone. Right away, he wonders how this can help him in daily life. The young man next to him asks what skill he received. Sang Woo tells him about cloning, but the man does not seem impressed. He explains that someone once had this skill, but their clones were just illusions and had no real use. Sang Woo starts to worry that his clones might also be useless. The man tries to comfort him, saying that having any skill is better than having none. Suddenly, a crowd gathers around another awakened person who has received an incredible skill. The person is already showing their power to the evaluation team. Sang Woo feels even more disappointed. He wonders how to leave. The man explains that he must first register his awakening. A few minutes later, Sang-woo is inside a machine that scans his body. After the scan, he talks to an employee who enters his information into the system. The employee tells him that his registration details are now stored in his bracelet. The awakening process is complete. Sang-woo leaves and heads home. He looks at his bracelet, thinking about how quickly everything happened. As he reaches his front door, he wonders about his new ability. But once inside, his focus shifts. He sits down and sorts through items in a game, separating useful things from trash. After playing for a while, he gets tired and lies down on his bed. He starts thinking about rent and school. Moreover, he needs a job. He wishes someone could work for him. Then, he suddenly remembers his skill. Excited, he gets up and moves to an open space. He concentrates on summoning a clone. At that moment, mana surrounds his body, glowing softly. The energy moves in front of him, forming into a solid shape. Suddenly, there is a bright flash. When the light fades, Sang-woo sees his exact copy standing before him. Sang-woo stares at his clone in amazement. After a moment, he asks if the clone is real. Without showing any emotion, the copy confirms that he is Sang-woo's clone. Still unsure, Sang-woo asks if he can touch him. The clone agrees and even calls Sang-woo master. Feeling a little awkward, Sang-woo touches the clone and realizes that he is not an illusion. Then, he notices something else. The clone is completely naked. Deciding that he needs to dress him, Sang-woo quickly finds some clothes. Once dressed, the clone tells him that he only needs to receive orders. Wanting to test his skill, Sang-woo mentally orders the clone to sit. Immediately, the clone obeys. Sang-woo is surprised and pleased that he does not have to speak to give orders. Next, he orders the clone to stand, and he does. Then he tells the clone to repeat the movement several times. The clone crouches and stands up again and again. Soon, he starts sweating and breathing heavily. Sang-woo realizes that the clone's physical abilities are exactly the same as his own. While watching the clone, Sang-woo's attention shifts to his phone. A friend has messaged him, asking what skill he received. Not wanting to reveal his ability, Sang-woo replies that he is still figuring it out. Meanwhile, the clone continues to squat. His friend keeps asking, curious about why Sang-woo is being so secretive. Suddenly, a system message appears. It notifies Sang-woo that his endurance level has increased. Meanwhile, the world's most famous S-tier hunter, George Lucas, receives a report. He is the only person to have conquered Odin's Tower and is the leader of a major hunter association. His assistant informs him that today, about 80% of humanity has awakened. When he asks when everyone will awaken, she estimates it will take another 5 years. Staring out of his office window at the city below, Lucas whispers that time is running out. Back in the city, Sang-woo is running through a park. He is covered in sweat, wearing heavy clothes, and pushing himself hard. Other runners watch in amazement at how intensely he trains. Suddenly he stops and sits on a bench, trying to catch his breath. A man passing by, who often sees him here, offers him some water, but instead of accepting, Sang-woo suddenly jumps up and starts running again, even faster. The man watches, confused about why he pushes himself so hard. Later, Sang-woo stands on a scale and is happy with the number he sees. He realizes that he eats as much as 2 people, but his weight keeps dropping. After finishing his daily weigh-in, he sits in a chair and reflects on what he has learned about his clone. Through trial and error, he discovers that he does not feel his clone's pain or exhaustion. If the clone gets seriously hurt or runs out of energy, he simply disappears. However, every physical improvement the clone makes is reflected in Sang-woo's real body. Since the clone does all the exercise, Sang-woo gets in great shape without any effort. He also learns that he can command his clone from a distance. In an instant, he orders the clone to stop running and start doing push-ups, and the clone obeys immediately. However, He finds out that the clone cannot create another clone. Only Sang-woo can use the cloning ability. He realizes that if clones could clone themselves, the world would be filled with endless copies of him. Sang-woo remembers the first time he visited a hunter information center. He learned about different types of abilities. Some are basic, like strength and endurance. Others are special, like regeneration and vitality, which not everyone has. Opening his status window, he is pleased to see that his stats have increased in a short time, all because his clone trains constantly. He wonders if he could improve even more by training alongside his clone. Looking at a gym flyer, Sang-woo debates whether he should start working out himself. He glances at his computer screen, where a game is still running. He looks back at the flyer. After thinking for a while, he makes a decision. He will be the mastermind, and his clone will do the hard work. One day later, Sang-woo checks his account and sees that his money is running out fast. He realizes that he is spending more on food than before. He decides he must find a part-time job. His first idea is to work in construction, where he can earn money and build his strength. However, he knows he must first do the work himself before his clone can copy him. Then, he sees an advertisement for a logistics center looking for workers. Without hesitation, he calls the number and introduces himself. The employer tells him there is no interview, and he can start immediately. When Sang-woo says he will start tomorrow, the employer asks if he can start today. After thinking for a moment, Sang-woo agrees. He realizes the company must be short on staff, but he does not mind as long as the pay is good. At the scheduled time, Sang-woo arrives at the logistics center with his clone. He looks around and sees trucks constantly moving in and out. He knows he is in the right place. His clone wears a mask and a hood to hide his identity. Sang-woo considers saying they are twin brothers, but instead, he names his clone Gyeong-do for work. He instructs Gyeong-do to answer questions if anyone speaks to him. As they stand there, a familiar voice calls out, "It is Mr. Deokchil," someone Sang-woo knows. The man is surprised to see him there and notices that Sang-woo has lost weight. Sang-woo thanks him and explains that he and a friend are working part-time. Mr. Deokchil points to an office building and tells him to check in there. After the man leaves, Sang-woo feels nervous. He asks his clone if he feels nervous, but his clone says no. Gaining confidence, Sang-woo reminds himself that he is now an awakened one and should not worry. He heads to the office, determined to start work. A few hours later, Sang-woo is sweating and exhausted. He realizes that finishing the job quickly is not possible. The logistics center is constantly busy, with new trucks arriving all the time. He watches the other workers and wonders how they keep up. Then he looks at his clone, who is carrying a box but does not look tired. Sang-woo thinks the clone is working well without him. Just then, the supervisor announces a break. Sang-woo sits down, exhausted. His clone sits next to him. Mr. Deokchil approaches them and gives each of them a can of soda. As they drink, the man asks the clone's name. As instructed, the clone introduces himself as Gyeong-do. Mr. Deokchil smiles and says that this must be Sang-woo's first time doing such work. Sang-woo admits that the job is harder than he expected. Mr. Deokchil laughs and says that most first-timers quit before lunchtime. Sang-woo silently agrees that he would have left too if he did not need the money. The conversation shifts to Sang-woo's studies. He explains that he is attending university. Meanwhile, quickly finishes his soda in one gulp. Mr. Deokchil comments that Sang-woo is studying at a good university and wishes his daughter could do the same. Sang-woo says that he also struggled with academics, but managed to enroll by studying extra. Mr. Deokchil is impressed and thinks deeply for a moment. Then, he asks Sang-woo if he would like a different job. Surprised, Sang-woo asks what kind of job. Mr. Deokchil offers him a tutoring position to help his daughter prepare for university. Sang-woo hesitates, thinking about the little money left in his account. He then asks about the pay. Mr. Deochil offers 50,000 won per lesson for 2 lessons a week. Sang-woo quickly sees the benefit of this offer. Only 4 hours of work per week for good pay. They shake hands and finalize the deal. Mr. Deochil says he will talk to his daughter after work and contact Sang-woo later. Later, Sang-woo looks up at the sky, hoping he will succeed in this new role. Just then, he receives a system message. His characteristics have increased. He is happy to see that he can earn money and improve his stats at the same time. He watches as other workers continue their jobs, unaware of the double benefits Sang-woo is receiving. Then his stomach growls. He reaches for his bag, where he packed lunch for himself and his clone, but the bag is empty. He looks at his clone, who is finishing the last cheeseburger. The clone drinks the second can of soda, completely ignoring his master's frustration. Sang-woo makes a few unkind remarks about his clone's behavior. The next morning is one of the hardest in Sang-woo's life. Every muscle in his body hurts. He decides that from now on, only his clone will do part-time jobs. Then the system announces an increase in performance. Sang-woo realizes that his clone is still working. He mentally orders him to return home. While the clone makes his way back, Sang-woo, who hasn't eaten all night, prepares breakfast. In just 10 minutes, he feels happy and satisfied. But his peaceful morning is interrupted when the front door suddenly opens. He jumps in surprise, only to see his clone standing there, reporting that he has completed his task. Sang-woo is still not used to having someone else enter his house. He takes a deep breath to calm down, and then orders his clone to take a shower and change clothes. 15 minutes later, his clone returns, clean and dressed. Sang-woo has a plan. He asks the clone to extend one of his arms. Holding a small needle, he pricks the clone's finger. The clone does not react at all. Seeing this, Sang-woo wipes away the small drop of blood with a napkin. Later, he sits at his computer, reading about regeneration skills. He learns that the body heals itself when damaged. He does not want to cause serious harm to his clone, so he decides to test only with small needle pricks. Sang-woo then gives number 1 new instructions. Go to work, eat when hungry, and train in his free time. He hands him a phone, telling him to always carry it and answer his calls. With that settled, Sang-woo heads to the gym for his own training session. As he walks, he suddenly feels a heavy hand land on his shoulder. His friend Kim greets him cheerfully, saying they haven't seen each other in a long time. As Sang-woo struggles to free himself from Kim's grip, his friend notices that Sang-woo has lost a lot of weight. Sang-woo smugly replies that he has started exercising and is on his way to the gym. Kim, curious, asks which gym he is going to. When Sang-woo tells him, Kim immediately praises the place, saying a very attractive trainer works there. Hearing this, Kim decides to join the training session as well. At the gym, people are busy exercising, building their muscles. One of the trainers, who is also the gym administrator, sits at the front desk, eating his meal. Just then, Sang-woo and Kim walk in. The administrator greets them. He eagerly explains the gym's promotions and discounts. Already familiar with the prices, Sang-woo asks for a 3-month subscription and some help with learning proper exercise techniques. Soon, Sang-woo finds himself trying the bench press. After finishing, he thanks the coach for correcting his form. Meanwhile, on another bench, Kim does the same exercise. He lifts the heavy weights with such force that everyone in the gym watches in amazement. When he finishes, he sits down, breathing heavily and flexing his huge arms. The administrator, impressed, asks Kim if he has been training for a long time. To everyone's surprise, Kim says it is his first time at the gym. Sang-woo immediately suspects that Kim gained extra strength after awakening his abilities. Listening to the conversation, Sang-woo realizes how powerful even a small increase in strength can be. He wonders just how strong high-level hunters must be. His thoughts are interrupted by a phone call. It is Mr. Deokshil. Remembering their agreement, the man says he has spoken to his daughter and asks when Sang-woo is available to start tutoring. Since Sang-woo has plenty of free time, he immediately gets invited to Mr. Deokchil's house. While riding the elevator, he recalls how the gym session ended. Kim did not buy a subscription, saying that Sang-woo would feel embarrassed training next to him. But Sang-woo knows the real reason. Kim only wanted to see the female trainer, who wasn't there that day. Sang-woo teases him about it. Still, it works out for the best. Now, his clone can go to the gym without Kim causing unnecessary trouble. Finally, Sang-woo arrives at the right floor and stands in front of Mr. Deokshil's apartment door. Inside, he hears a loud argument. A young woman angrily tells her father that he made the decision without consulting her. Suddenly, the door swings open. Mr. Deokshil, stepping outside, firmly tells his daughter that canceling the lesson is not an option. In his frustration, he doesn't realize that the door slams right into Sang-woo's head. A dull thud echoes in the hallway. Shocked, Mr. Deokshil looks at him, eyes wide with surprise. His daughter, now face to face with Sang-woo, also stares at him in silence. A few minutes later, Sang-woo sat inside the apartment, holding a cold wet towel to his bruised forehead. Mr. Deokshil kept apologizing for what had happened. His wife soon joined them and noticed how much weight Sang-woo had lost since they last met. He explained that it was because of his regular training. Sang-woo then looked at the girl sitting quietly nearby. Her name was Haeyeon, and she looked very uncomfortable. Her face was bright red. Just a few minutes ago, she had loudly complained about having a young tutor, but now she was silent. Her parents found the sudden change in her behavior amusing. Haeyeon, on the other hand, felt embarrassed. She was sure Sang-woo had heard her arguing with her father. Sang-woo got straight to the point. He asked to see Haeyeon's report card. Haeyeon's eyes widened in horror. She hesitated but finally handed him the paper. As Sang-woo studied her grades, she burned with shame. Her parents chuckled at her reaction. Then, Mr. Deokshil suddenly stood up and said he had to go to work. He quickly left the apartment. Sang-woo looked at Haeyeon again. He could see how sad and embarrassed she was. Wanting to comfort her, he told her that he had also struggled with low grades. To catch up and enter university, he had worked very hard. Hearing this, Haeyeon's face brightened a little. She was thankful for his kind words. Sang-woo then said they would do their best to improve her grades and prepare her for university. When the first lesson was over, Sang-woo left the apartment, thinking about the long journey ahead. Teaching Haeyeon would not be easy. She was trying her best, but it would take a lot of effort. Still, he believed there was hope. Back at home, Sang-woo sat at his desk and noticed that his clone had already left for work. He realized that if he created more clones, he would have to buy each one a phone. That would be too expensive. Then, he decided to check an online marketplace for hunters. This was a place where hunters could buy special skills. But when he looked at the prices, he felt hopeless. With that much money, he would rather buy a house than a new skill. Sang-woo began to wonder how much hunters must earn to afford such expensive skills. He checked his bank account and saw that he had very little money left. He sighed and fell onto his bed. After a few minutes, a thought crossed his mind. Maybe he should become a hunter. He turned on the news. The report was about high-level hunters. This made him sit up suddenly. He had a unique skill, and he should not waste it doing hard labor as a loader. Feeling motivated, he decided to start his plan immediately. Decades ago, portals appeared all over the world. Monsters came out of these portals, causing a global disaster. Half of the human population died. People thought humanity would be wiped out, but then some humans awakened special abilities. These people fought and defeated the monsters. That was how the hunter profession began. Sang-woo headed to the hunter center while listening to a commercial about getting a hunting license. When he arrived, he was impressed by the size of the building. Inside, he saw shops selling weapons and equipment. He also saw many people, some of whom had come to take the hunter license test. A woman nearby announced that the test would be held on the ground floor. She added that applicants had only 20 minutes left to register. Feeling nervous, Sang-woo quickly signed up and went to the test room. He opened the door and greeted everyone inside. Instantly, he felt the cold stares of the other applicants. Embarrassed, he looked for an empty seat. Without thinking, he apologized to the people in the room. A few of them laughed at him for being so soft-spoken. Then a tall and muscular man entered. His name was Han Myung-won, a C-rank hunter. He was the examiner for the test. Han explained that the test had 3 parts: theory, practice, and an aptitude test. He warned that anyone caught cheating would never get a hunter license. Sang-woo sat up straight, listening carefully. He could feel Han Myung-hwan's powerful presence. The examiner finished his speech and announced the start of the test. The scene shifts to the CEO of the JM Hunter Agency. Kang listens to a phone call. His caller is upset, but Kang tells him to wait a little longer because things will improve soon. The caller hangs up angrily. Kang thinks he got off easy today. Looking at the time, he remembers that the next hunter's license exam at the Hunter's Center is ending soon. Meanwhile, Sang-woo stands and reads the message from the system, telling him he has received his hunter's license, which is level F. He recalls the exam. It was easy. The written test was followed by time to practice for the practical shooting test. The aptitude test was just a conversation about ethics and morality. Sang-woo wonders if it's normal for anyone to get a license for such dangerous work. It feels like the government wants as many people as possible to become hunters. Once outside, Sang-woo sees newly licensed hunters being approached by people in suits, handing out business cards. These people are recruiters from various agencies and associations that want new members. Sang-woo watches for a while as the recruiters talk about the benefits of joining their agencies. Then, a man congratulates him on receiving his hunter's license. The man introduces himself as Kang Harding and offers to work with his agency. Sang-woo takes the business card, thanks him, but is distracted by a new message from the system. His development level has increased, and he can now summon 2 clones at a time. He stops listening to Kang and walks away, promising to call him later. Kang regrets missing the opportunity to recruit Sang-woo. It gets dark, and the clouds disappear, revealing the stars. In Sang-woo's apartment, Number 1 stands and watches his master use his basic skill again. Sang-woo speaks to his clone, Number 2, and tells him that they are now ready to become hunters. He takes out Kang's business card and shows it to his clones. Kang, after handing out business cards, sits in his car, hoping someone will call him. As he takes a break, he remembers his old boss. The boss told him to spend the amount agreed upon in the contract. But when Kang looks at the documents, his face changes. He believes that the price for killing a monster should be higher. His boss says that Kang has been working for them for a long time and should understand how things work. The boss advises Kang not to get involved in the internal affairs of the agency. Kang feels anger rise as he sits in his car, wondering if he should just stay quiet and accept the situation. Suddenly, his phone rings. He answers the call and is told that someone wants to meet with him. Kang arrives at a cafe where he sees Sang-woo waving at him. Sang-woo apologizes for being late, and they sit down to talk. After ordering drinks, Kang asks Sang-woo what his basic skill is. Sang-woo calmly replies that his skill is cloning. Kang's expression changes because he has heard of similar skills that create useless illusions. He wonders how this skill could help in hunting. Kang pulls out some papers and tells Sang-woo that his skills are excellent. He offers Sang-woo the contract to join the agency. As Sang-woo reads, Kang explains the work. He suggests starting by hunting slugs, which is simple and not very dangerous. He also mentions areas with mutant rats, but warns that safety can't be guaranteed there. Sang-woo takes a photo of the contract and says that hunting slugs isn't a problem for him. After reading the contract, Sang-woo likes the prices for monster corpses and the artifacts they can sell. He tells Kang he is ready to sign the contract. Kang asks him which area he would choose for hunting. Suddenly, someone approaches the table and places a stamp on the contract. He says that the man has misunderstood him. He plans to hunt in each of the areas that Kang just mentioned. In a flashback, we see. After greeting the new applicant, Kang asks what skill the young man has. The applicant replies that his skill is cloning. Kang then asks him to show this skill in action. The young man has no problem doing this. He activates his energy, and several exact copies of him appear in front of Kang. Kang is impressed by this skill. The clones seem to have endless possibilities. But then, all the clones suddenly draw their swords and point them at the original. Kang becomes worried, fearing what might happen next. His worst fears come true when the clones stab their creator with their swords. Kang, worried for his safety, calls for the clones to stop and tries to shield himself from any possible attack. But the young man calmly says that his clones are not real. They are just illusions. He explains that the clones only distract attention while he, the real person, can attack. Kang listens carefully and watches the clones disappear. He breathes a sigh of relief and thinks that this skill is definitely related to illusions. However, back to present, he is surprised because the young man's clone picks up the contract papers he handed over to him. The clone even drinks the coffee that was brought to the table. Kang has never seen a skill like this before, where a person can create real clones instead of illusions. He is still filled with doubts and suggests that maybe the young man and his clone are twin brothers. The young man laughs loudly. He turns to his clone and says that this is what most people would think. He turns back to Kang and confidently says that this is his clone and that he is real. He adds that he has another clone working out in the gym. Kang is very surprised. He didn't know that clones could do everything a real person can do, including building muscles. The young man also adds that if his clones get stronger, then he will get stronger too. Kang begins to understand that this young man, although currently a level F hunter, has great potential. His thoughts are interrupted when the young man asks if there will be any problems if the same person enters two different hunting areas. Kang confirms that there could be problems because strict controls are in place in all areas. The young man is disappointed. He wanted to benefit from both areas at once. But Kang reassures him that he will speak to the Hunter Association and they should find a solution. The young man says that he needs some time to restore his energy before the demonstration continues. Kang suggests meeting in a couple of days at the Hunter Center. Before leaving, Kang wants to talk about the contract again, but the young man interrupts him. He says he already put his stamp on it and has studied the details from the photo the clone sent him. Kang is surprised. He stands up suddenly, which almost scares the young man. But Kang smiles and extends his hand, saying he's very glad to work with someone as talented as him. The young man shakes his hand, and they both agree to work together. 2 days later, Sang-woo is at the Hunter Center, looking for Kang. Kang notices the young man's punctuality and points out that he arrived even before the scheduled time. Sang-woo says he didn't know where the Hunter Association was located in the center. Kang explains that most of its departments are there. He invites Sang-woo to follow him, and they enter the busy building. A young man with glasses asks Sang-woo if he really wants dual access to the hunting areas. Sang-woo explains that he has the cloning skill, and the employee asks him to wait. His request is unusual, and the staff needs time to find the right form for dual access. Sang-woo thinks that this is a rare situation. Soon, the form is found. The employee hands it to Sang-woo and tells him where to go for the demonstration. Sang-woo and Kang are amazed by the amount of paperwork required, but they divide the tasks. Kang handles the bureaucracy, and Sang-woo will demonstrate his skill. Sang-woo goes to the room for the demonstration and meets a pretty girl there. Without hesitation, Sang-woo uses his fully restored energy to create a clone. In an instant, a naked copy of Sang-woo appears in the room. The girl is embarrassed and pretends to close her eyes. Meanwhile, a man in another room finishes working on a bracelet that all hunters wear. He announces that a copy of the bracelet for entering the hunting area is ready. The man explains that the bracelet will account for Sang-woo's clone's entry, exit, and re-entry. As the man hands over the bracelet, he mentions that Sang-woo's skill is unique and has never been seen before. Sang-woo thanks the man and quickly leaves to avoid any unwanted attention. The man is left alone, thinking about how fascinating this young man could be for research. Sang-woo returns to where Kang is waiting. He tells Kang that the bracelet issue has been solved. He also happily announces that everything is ready for the hunt. Kang asks when Sang-woo wants to start. Sang-woo replies that he is free and ready to start right now. Kang then asks why the clone hides its face behind a mask. Sang-woo explains that it's to avoid unnecessary attention. As they chat, a man from the upper floor notices them. He is Shin Hee-sung, the guild master of the Hee-sung Guild. He is a little surprised to see Kang there. And that's where we wrap things up for now. Sang-woo's all set, the hunt's about to begin, and bigger players like Shin Hye-sung are starting to take notice. Stick around, things are about to heat up. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay locked in for more.